Alright, and welcome back to the Shardbreaker podcast. I am here with Darkness
Hello.
and Mythic.
Woo! Hello.
This week we read chapters 14 through 17. We had two Serenity chapters this time. Yes, I know, Mythic. Serenity's chapters are not your favorite. uh, but we did have two Serenity chapters this time. Next time we'll have two Harathan chapters. Aren't you excited?
No.
I'm just gonna skip those.
You can't skip them! They're short.
Well,
He has like the
actually,
shortest chapters.
I'll say I'm also kind of getting into Harathan's bullshit, so just because I want to see him fail.
So we start this chapter with Serene's point of view, as she is struggling with another artistic ability, this time being needlework. Apparently, she struggles with many feminine activities, but is determined to keep trying. She's
Well,
trying to
sure,
make.
she's not just a guy in disguise.
I mean, I think guys can be artistic. I think she's just bad at fucking
Yeah,
art.
but I mean, her being bad at feminine things. What is going on here?
She's also very tall.
Yeah, exactly. We should have
She's
just a
just
male
mythic in
in disguise.
disguise.
Yeah, probably.
Mythic is now Serene.
I, Let me just integrate myself in here before I murdered everybody. I tried to be an Elantris. I don't know what you're talking about.
So she's trying to make a bird on a branch, but apparently it looks more like a squash tomato, which probably would be about what I could do as well. I have no
I,
artistic ability either.
I I don't even know how you do that.
It's just a red blob.
But how does it go from trying to make it a bird into a
Well, because
I
I think
mean,
blob?
it's one of those like circular, I think, like needlepoint things. So I think it's like hard to like get the design right. I don't know.
squash tomato.
But yeah, so Eshin says that it's very nice, and Daora, which is Kin's wife, says Domi will reward her if she is diligent at practicing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and Dora is apparently pretty much perfect. She notes that she has artistic talent, graceful walking, perfect makeup, intelligence, kindness, and it pretty much makes her impossible for Serenity to hate, even though she kind of wishes she could just hate her because of how perfect she is. Which I feel like everyone just knows that perfect person. You're like, God damn, I wish to hate you, but you're too nice of a person as well.
Nope, I don't know anybody perfect in my life. Oh wait, never mind.
Oh,
I know Midnight.
I'm not perfect. What were you gonna say, Darkness?
nothing. I was just laughing.
I see. But yeah, so what did you think about Serenity's stubbornness and failure at artistic activities?
Well, I mean, pretty much the same as every other time she does art.
She seems to think if she just keeps doing it, it'll somehow get better, but I don't know if she's actually trying to learn any new techniques. I
Um,
mean,
I think
oh,
they're accurate.
hmm?
I think they're accurate to how she should be displayed.
Wow, I see.
I mean, they're resourceful to produce the, how do I say it? The I'm not that bright of a woman sort of vibe she's going for.
I see. So after a bit of silence, Eshin begins speaking, as apparently she can never let a room stay silent. And as Eshin speaks, Serene thinks about how the group of 10 women were as important as the court meetings due to all the gossip that couldn't be shared in formal meetings, which is why she's actually hanging out with them, whereas before she didn't really want to. And Eshin and Dora begin speaking about Lord Warren, who had a religious experience and has switched from Shu Korath to Shu Dareth recently. Atara, Duke Telri's wife, states that they're basically the same religion, and Sidon, Count Ahan's wife, says not to say that around the priests, as I think your soul depends on whether you call God Domi or Jadeth. And then Serene speaks up, saying the two religions do have some notable differences, but Atara just laughs at that. Apparently, Atara doesn't go fuck about religion. She's like, yeah, no, they're basically the same thing. Who gives a fuck? um, And then Eshin then asks Serene what women in Tio do to pass the time, and Serene says some would embroider, but some would attend court meetings and discuss them with others. Eshin then asks if they fight with swords, and Dora mentions how people here think that women in Tio fight with swords. And Sidon cuts in and says that they've heard that women in Teod kill each other for the entertainment of men. So what did you think about that stereotype?
I thought it'd be cool.
I mean, I was hoping it was true.
The gladiator battles to the death for the for men. But yeah, that was an interesting little stereotype there. So Serenity then corrects Sidon, stating that they do fencing, uh, which they do for their own entertainment, and they don't kill or even injure each other. Trina, Sidon's daughter, asks if it's true then and seems amazed. Serenity notes that they seem eager as caged hounds. They've got like bloodlust in their eyes, I think she mentions. They're like, yes, let us stab people.
That's
uh,
me, bro. Like,
and then Serenity suggests teaching the women to fight, but Esha and Daora mention how the king looks down upon swordplay, and that only nobles that know how to fight are Lord Eondel and Lord Shuden. Apparently, Raoden also knew how to fight. And Serenity says that if the king thinks swordplay is below men, then it should be fine for them as they're only women. So what were your first thoughts about the women learning defense? Did you think they'd be any good at it?
No, not good at it immediately. No.
I thought they were gonna be useless. So.
I was kind of hoping that Siri was gonna
Serenity?
uh no Siri was going to like show them, show them all up and then be like, yeah, see, look, I can do this, but I can't do art.
Mhm. Uh, um. Well, I mean, I figured as soon as like she brought up like fencing and stuff, and like how like all of them were gathered around, I figured it would become a thing,
Mm.
and I was hoping they would go all like that scene from Shrek where all the princesses are fighting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like that.
I see, I see. So we then skip to Serene in her room asking Ash where her sword is. But she quickly gives up on looking for the sword, instead searching for a dress to wear to the ball tonight. And as she searches, she asks Ash what he learned, which is apparently not much. He notes that the people of Kay don't like to speak to Seance, and the Seance don't know much. And then the mad Seance in Elantris can't answer his questions, and the people in Elantris just ask him for food. Apparently, the most useful were the guards on the walls of Elantris. Ash says that the guards seem to think the people of Elantris lose who they were, and that the curse is both mental and physical. Ash also mentions that the Elantrians are not fed as far as Ash can tell. Were you disappointed that Ash didn't seem to find anything about Raoden this time?
I mean, no, not really. Wasn't disappointed. He can only do so much.
You
He's a
for
ball of
some
light.
for some reason, I don't trust it.
don't trust Ash?
Mm-mm.
I mean, I don't trust any of them, but
But that's like
because
Warbreaker thinking though.
exactly, because I started thinking that they were like the pawn call. They're just kind of sitting in the shadows and nobody sees them, and then they're gonna be like actually the reason that Elantris fell and all
You're
this
like
other stuff.
Haratha and you think they can't be trusted.
Well, no, I'm not Holy Karath, and take those words out your mouth. That man is nothing like me. But I
I mean,
don't.
he doesn't
I
trust
think,
the Seance.
yeah, I agree. I agree that maybe they're not to be trusted, but I don't know if it's because of the reasons he sees. I
Mm.
don't think it's because they can talk to each other and then whatever. I think Karath is not seeing the bigger picture.
They're
Mm.
sentient. They cannot be trusted.
They are
And
sentient.
they're just the
They
Nightblood
have
of the
their own
story.
things. No, they're not. Nightblood is so much better than them. Man can actually do something.
You don't know that they
Killing
can't do
people.
anything. They can make their
You're right.
phones.
That's all
What
they
if
are.
what if they're the reason? Nah, I doubt it.
Hmm?
That's too
Mm,
many. Do we know how many there are?
I
a
don't think
lot.
we do.
Damn, that's tough. We don't even know if they existed beforehand, right?
We
Like
do
before the
know
fall of
they've
the existence?
existed for a long time.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So, how many are there?
I, we
You should
we
know
don't
this.
we don't know how many there are.
You should know this. You're the podcast
We
person.
don't know how many there are. I'm
But why
sorry.
not?
Didn't you write the books?
I did not write the books. I am not Brandon
Aren't you
Sanderson.
aren't you in like cahoots with Brandon? Like
No, I'm not.
I thought you were like you had the in, you know?
No.
He's giving you like special books and stuff. Like, come
Maybe
on.
he's giving me special books.
You
Yeah,
know, like
you get the parental you get the special treatment.
Do I?
the teacher edition.
I wish. Um, so did we talk about the dress yet? I don't think so.
Nope.
Did we talk about the...
Nope.
Great, thank you. So Serenity then changes into a gold dress with black lace and a black cape. Ash is concerned that it isn't black enough and that it's too low cut. 'Cause he's apparently like bit father in that moment. He's like, "You're showing too much skin, Serenity."
Yeah, thanks, Dad.
But Serenity changes the conversation to asking about what Ash learned in the dungeons. Ash notes that there was no sign of Rowden anywhere in the dungeon, which Serenity isn't surprised by. She says that she should probably be looking for the assassin instead, because she still, like, thinks that there was an assassin that killed Rowden off. And Ash suggests speaking to Eshin, but Serenity says she has tried and it's harder to keep her on topic. We then learn the reason Eshin and Iodon got married, which was likely due to financial reasons, as Eshin's father had financed Iodon's original government funds. Serenity says she'll keep trying to get information out of Eshin, but doesn't think she knows anything else. So yeah, what did you think about the fact that Eshin's family basically funded Iodon's government?
I I think that she definitely doesn't like him.
For good
I feel like
reason too.
I feel like there's like hidden hate in there, you know. But maybe she'll challenge her husband to a duel
Oh
after she
damn.
has the feelings off.
That would be cool.
Eshin's also doing the long Kong with the stupid act.
Hmm.
She just does it better than Serene.
Honestly, that would be great.
Imagine.
What if like that group of women is just her secret society of like ninjas?
So the conversation then moves on to Serene wondering if her uncle Kin was disinherited as her father never speaks of him anymore. Ash says that Dio, a man that works closely with Serene's father, may know more about it. Serene then asks Ash to have the black dresses taken away. So before you had read about the ball, did you
Burn them.
think... Hmm?
I said
Yeah,
yes. Take
burn
them
them.
away and burn them.
But yeah, before you had read about the ball, did you think Serene's dress was going to cause issues considering it's not fully black?
Not really.
Uh, I mean, I figured she was gonna get like looks, but I didn't
As
think it would be an issue
Hmm.
yeah.
per
Uh-huh.
se.
At that point, they just want her to be Batman.
um, that'd be funny. We do learn later that she apparently is quite rich, so
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
so she could be Batman.
she could.
she's gonna be able
Now
to remember.
she'll just need her former husband to be Joker, and she'll be all good.
Oh,
Yo, how I got these
Oh
scars.
and
no.
her parents to die, which doesn't seem off that far off by now.
I mean,
Yeah, he definitely seems like he's gonna die soon.
oh gosh. Guess we'll get into that later. Uh, so we then skip to Serene in a carriage with Lord Shuden on their way to Lord Talry's mansion. There are tall metal poles with fire at the top laying the road to his mansion, which are apparently very expensive rocks that burn.
Yeah,
Shuden,
so they state that it burns faster than coal.
yeah,
In my opinion, in my opinion, for the amount of money that they're saying it costs, shouldn't it burn longer than coal?
you'd think, but apparently not.
Like, I feel
I'm
like you'd
assuming they're
want
just really
flame
rare
longer,
rocks, and that's why they're so expensive. I think
but
they also
like
say they're like shipped a long way.
it's just crazy to me. They burn super fast, but like, oh hey,
I think they're prettier, and maybe they're not as like gross as coal.
maybe.
I have no idea. But yeah, Shuden then notes that although Telri is usually very free with his money, he usually has a purpose for what he spends his money on. They then head into the mansion and the main ballroom. Shuden states that he is happy that Serene offered to come with him, but doesn't hear her when she asks why. Shuden also brings up how much this ball must have cost, and Serene thinks about how her father wouldn't have ever had such a wasteful party. Serene then goes back to Shuden's comment from earlier, and he explains that he gets a lot of attention from women. Serene might keep some of them away for at least some time. So do you think Serene going to the ball with Shuden, the youngest and most eligible of the meeting, will be an issue later on?
Yep, she's gonna get assassinated.
The women are gonna come
Watch
at her.
him get assassinated.
I mean,
Oh
she's
shit.
teaching them how to use swords, so maybe they'll assassinate her.
Damn.
I'm gonna laugh if they fight each other in order to try to get to that dude.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, like in the meeting last episode, they were all like, "Oh yeah, Serena was like, if I go with you guys, it won't be as weird because like most of you are married and I'm supposed to be married and all this shit." And then she goes with like the fucking not married young guy.
Yep.
Right?
I'm like, this didn't seem like the plan. I thought the plan was to
And the one
not
that's
seem like you were
wanted
cheating.
essentially the most. Like,
Yeah, because I thought the whole plan was to get to the ball without seeming like she was being unfaithful to her husband. This does not seem like that strategy.
Yeah,
and
no,
she
especially
chose,
with the dress that she's
yeah, I
wearing.
was gonna say, and she chose the stupidest fucking option of a dress that she
The
could.
super low cut dress. Oh
But
my
I'll never
gosh.
get the chance to wear it, Ash.
That pissed me the fuck off because like you can wait.
Mm.
Like there's other balls. It's not like this is your last
Yeah,
ball ever. It's not like you're
there's
on your
there's
deathbed.
at least two.
Oh my gosh.
She's gonna wear that shit to her own funeral now.
Mm. Yeah, it's gonna be
Damn.
stained red instead of yellow.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, okay, who buys a yellow dress? Okay, that's
It's
the ugliest
gold. It's
color.
not yellow.
That
It's a yellow dress.
yeah, it
I mean,
is.
Eshin also hates. Was it orange or yellow she hates?
Yellow.
Eshin would agree with you. She'd be like, "This is disgusting color.
Yeah.
You look like a
Hmm.
bumblebee."
Uh, just add a little polka dot on that.
I like her outfit. I like her outfit later. So
Hmm. So Serenity then notes that Shuden knows everyone who approaches him by name and is very polite, even though he had noted that he doesn't like most of the women in the court. They eventually arrive at a smaller, separate room upstairs where the king is. Apparently, Iadon always goes to a separate room to have a more exclusive party at every ball. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, he's like, I need my own separate room with my own separate band. Fuck you, commoner nobles. I need my exclusive nobles.
or
Uh,
it could be one of those private parties.
what do you mean?
no, it's not one of those, Darkness.
And it's like, huh?
Get in
I
the
don't get it.
comments.
She doesn't get it.
I don't
No,
know
get in the
what type of
comments.
party do you mean?
Don't worry about it. Don't
Starts
worry
with
about
an O, ends with a Y.
Why?
Hmm.
it. Oh no.
Yeah, we've broken midnight. She will be sitting here forever thinking about.
I don't. For some reason, the only word that keeps coming to mind is orangey. It's like an orange colored.
Wow, she was close with the
Was I
word.
close?
I'm pretty sure she knows she was close.
Was I
Darkness,
close?
I think she's feigning ignorance here.
No, really.
I think she's
What
trying
is
to be
it?
Serene. I think she's trying to be Serene here,
It's
Darkness.
orange.
Oh, say the word again. What do you think it was?
Orangey.
Mm, mm. Do you-
Bro. Uh. We'll just let it be and we'll never tell her and then that'll be like our little thing in the podcast.
The
Yep.
fuck? Okay. Should I move on?
Somebody's gonna comment on it later.
Okay, I'm gonna move on.
Yeah, you should move on.
Probably
Okay.
safer.
Um.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to make your say
Yes.
so mine.
I don't understand.
Whatever you do, don't Google it.
I don't know how to Google it.
Yeah, you don't know how to Google what she doesn't know.
I don't know how to Google a word I don't know.
You know.
Anyways, so yeah, they have the exclusive party, and we also learn that Tellery is Idon's main rival as they both have merchant fleets. So what are your thoughts about the fact that Idon always has his own room at each ball for only his like VIPs?
I mean, me and Darkness are pretty much on the same goal here, but I think he has a private party for his own pleasures. He doesn't like the riffraff, so
Yeah. You know,
I mean,
maybe
he doesn't. I don't. I think he's being classist, and he doesn't like the riffraff. So better
Yeah,
to have your own private party and your own private ball. You know, away
for
from
your
all
own
of them.
private reasons.
Yeah, you can put your privates anywhere you want.
what? Excuse me.
Excuse you?
They meant like private situations. Like
Mm-hmm.
financially
No,
and all
that's not what I meant at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to give hints so that she understands what we were
Mm-hmm.
hinting at earlier.
Anyways, Iadon sees Serene and seems less than happy with her dress, considering it's mostly gold. And
Hmm.
Serene then notices Harathan is also in the room. Apparently, he's been
That.
showing up since he first arrived, and no one was able to kick him out or not invite him since. So apparently, he just like showed up to the very first ball since he went, as of when he was in town, without an invitation, and then no one's had been able to like not invite him since. He's just like, I am important. I will be here.
So what you're saying is he just put his needs before others?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it sounds like. Nobody else matters except him.
That's kind of hot.
What?
I don't
Excuse
know
me.
about that.
What the fuck?
I said it randomly just to see how you would react
The
to it.
fuck?
It's kind of manipulative and
Oh, that's also hot.
oh, okay.
Anyways, Shuden then goes on a slight rant about the differences in Shu Keseg, the parent religion, and Shu Dareth and Shu Korath. Serenity notes that Jindo is now Darethi, and Shuden says that the people let Warren think that they have converted, but most are questioning that decision now. Shun also doesn't think that the Darethi church is an issue, but thinks Harathan is quite dangerous as he seems more concerned with numbers than the faith of the worshippers. And then Warren, son of Baron Diolan, is also there with Harathan, and Shun notes that he thinks his
Harassing.
Harathan, and Shun notes that he thinks his intense piety is just him trying to gain notoriety. Shun also notes that Serene seems to be acting like she and Harathan are personally against each other.
Because they
Uh,
are.
yeah, I was gonna say, what do you think about the fact that Harathan and Serenity seem to be so focused on like their grudges? Like they seem to have like grudges against each other.
What if they end up together?
What?
No, no, don't even put that juju out in there.
Mm,
Man is old and decrepit and nasty,
He's like
and he's a
40.
harasser. He's a harasser.
mm,
Exactly, old.
Like 15 years older than her.
Yeah, exactly,
I've seen
old.
worse.
Yeah, so have I. And it's still disgusting.
Mm,
Darkness. We don't need to know about your your preferences here.
Yeah, we don't. Oh, she's getting there. She's getting there. Darkness.
I
She's getting
mean,
less. She's getting less say show.
if they got what they got.
Yeah. Money. Is that what you're going for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darkness is just a gold digger.
I mean,
Oh
what's the?
yeah.
I mean, what's the other guy's name that is apparently a bachelor too, and then women are after
Oh,
him?
was
Like,
that Iandel? I
yeah,
think it
like
might have been
A
Iandel.
little,
he's an
a
Or
old
was
little.
it
man.
Royal? No, I think it was Royal.
I
I
mean,
think
he's an
Royal
old
was.
man, and he
Yeah,
knows
he
exactly
was
what's
quite
going
old.
on.
I think he's like actually like in his like 50s or something.
Yeah, but he
Oh,
knows exactly what's going on though. He's like, I know these women. They just want me for my money, and then they're
He's like, they
gonna
don't think I'll make them work for it, and I will.
yeah, and I'm like, yeah, you do that. Make them work for it.
a
Make
little
these
tripwire here
gold
and there.
diggers work for it.
um.
A little accident on the stairs will be
Oh,
fine.
actually, that's exactly the conversation we get into next. Lord Royal then comes over, and Shun mentions how Royal is
Yep.
just as eligible, a bachelor as himself. Serenity is surprised by this, and Royal mentions it's only because he has no heirs, and the women are after his money. He also mentions he'd make whatever girl gets him for his money work for it, which makes Shun blush and Serenity laugh. Like how we had that conversation just before my notes on it.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, they don't think I'll make them work for that money, but I'm gonna make them work for it.
As he should.
I
His
mean, yeah,
money.
if they're gonna gold dig for him, he's like, no,
I mean,
you're.
it's his money. He'll use it when he wants to.
Hell yeah.
um, So they then bring up Lord Telry and how it seems like he may be secretly converting and siding with the Gjorn. However, their conversation is cut off by Eshin calling out to Serene. Apparently, Iadon doesn't like the thought of the women doing swordplay, but Serene brings up her idiot act again and says it's for exercising so they don't get fat. And at one point, it almost seems like Iadon is catching on to her act, but says it's fine. So, do you think Iadon has or will soon catch on to Serene's idiot act?
I think he
I feel
already
like
knows she's not stupid.
I feel like he's just gonna be done with her shit.
I mean, I think he's just too into his own head that it doesn't really matter. He's like, I think he knows she's not dumb, and then he's just kind of being like, all right, well, I know this, but I'm too into what I'm doing, so I don't really care.
Mm. Yeah, he's just like, whatever. Just let her do
Mhm.
whatever. I can't
Yeah.
spend the time
I
to
mean,
handle her.
until she creates the revolt, and then he'll notice that, I'm sure.
Yup.
The women's revolt, and they get all their rights and everything.
There's gonna be the peasants revolt. There's gonna be a women's revolt. There's gonna be an Elantrian revolt. They're just all gonna revolt
Well, no, I don't know if the Elantrians are going to revolt. I think the Elantrians just need to stay in their own place,
I
enjoy their time in Elantris, and
until they go crazy.
I don't think they're
well,
going to go great. I think
I
it's a lie.
Mm.
yeah,
I think it's a
I
lie.
I I think when this happens, they're just gonna chill in there, bro. Like, why would they go out to where they can potentially get hurt when they're slowly building up a place? You know?
Unless
they
they
need to
can
get a bunch
find a
of
way to
like
heal themselves.
they need to make like like all the walls into like the mental asylum like cushion walls so there's like no corners or sharp edges. Just pad all of the walls in Elantris.
And then take all the sharp weaponry away and all
Yeah,
the
everyone just wears bubble
utensils.
suits.
They need. I was gonna say they need like
Yeah,
hamster balls.
that'd be hilarious.
Darkness, I think we need to give you a hamster ball.
I would love that. I
Hey,
actually
I've
would.
tried
if you
one
if you co-
before. They're so
if
much
you come
fun.
down here, I'll wait till it's really hot, put you in a hamster ball, and I'll just leave you there.
No, I would melt. I would also melt the hamster ball.
So Serenity then goes
Actually,
back.
they're pretty good. They're pretty good with heat. They retain the heat inside.
Oh gosh.
Uh,
So you just die first, and then the hamster ball might deflate. Maybe.
I'll chew through it.
Oh my gosh.
Ah,
True
gotcha. All right.
hamster.
So make sure I get a very well reinforced one.
Oh my god. Put Midnight in there. She's short enough.
What the
I
fuck?
mean, she's already a hamster. We don't need to do that.
Wow.
She's got her own little hamster cage that Jesus is just kind of feeding her pellets.
Wow. Anyways, Serenity goes back to Shuden and Royal as a messenger goes up to the king. Serenity tries to overhear what they're talking about, but Harathan interrupts and says the king shouldn't have conversations where idiots can hear. Idonly
That fat
notices
bitch.
Serenity is nearby and takes the messenger elsewhere. What were you saying, Darkness?
That's so disrespectful.
um, yeah, so before we found out what the messenger had been telling the king, what did you think that was about?
The what? What's his name? God damn it! The his son coming into his castle. I don't
Oh,
remember what
Rowden.
his.
You think they had found out about
Yeah,
Rowden?
Robin. Yeah,
What do you
there was
think,
an
Darkness?
intrusion.
Did you have any
Uh,
thoughts?
I thought it was just like reports on what Siri has been doing.
Serene?
Siri.
See.
Yes, darkness, join my movement.
Oh my gosh. So Lord Telri then enters the room, going around and speaking to each group but ignoring Harathan. He gets to Serene's group, and Royal introduces him to Serene, but Telri mostly ignores her and speaks to Royal. Afterwards, Serene has Shuden spend hours introducing her to people in the main ballroom to try and make as many contacts as possible. Eventually, she gets back to the palace, and there are guards running around. She learns that someone broke into the palace, but they're gone already, and Serene heads off to bed. That was the end of chapter 14.
That was a long chapter.
Yeah,
Yep.
Serene's chapters are all like really long. They're all like 20 pages, whereas Harathan and Rowden's are like, I think Harathan's are usually like 10 and Rowden's are like usually like 10 to 15.
Wait, what? Like the time?
The page numbers.
Oh, yeah, because it gives me an estimated time of how long it'll take to read the chapter.
Yeah, remember I don't do audiobooks.
I don't either.
Oh yeah, you do the ebooks. I do physical editions. So,
Uh, yeah, so that chapter was around like 20 minutes, and then
mm,
the other ones compared to that are like 12 minutes.
yeah. So then we have chapter 15, which is a Harathan point of view. He is pacing the walls of Elantris. He's whispering to himself, causing a passing guard to ask if he needs anything before continuing his rounds. Hrathen notes that he comes here most nights to think alone, but that he also pities the people of Elantris that seem more like people inflicted with a terrible disease than devils. However, he needs to use them as his devils to unify Erelon as harmlessly as possible. He notes that what happened in Duladel still causes him great guilt. So what do you think about the fact that Hrathen feels pity for the Elantrians compared to Dilaf, who is so against them?
Repeat the question. I couldn't hear you.
I said, what do you think about the fact that Hrathen feels pity for the Elantrians compared to Dilaf, who is so against them?
I feel like this is the point where like Olaf and Hrathen are gonna, like, sort of like he's gonna realize that it's gonna go hella wrong.
Hmm.
And even though like it gets out of control for him, he's still gonna go with it because he's gonna feel like it's his duty.
I see.
Yeah, like because obviously he has like some like sort of like feelings that are not always negative towards them, while the other dude just wants to see them all burn. So
Yeah, Dilaf is just a very hateful person, where Hrathen actually, like, has a conscience, it seems like.
yes,
What do you think, Mythic?
I pretty much agree. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Hrathen thinks about his plans to apply pressure to Iadon until he folds, and then he can put a more agreeable monarch in his place. He would put a new government before any revolution had to take place. However, he knows that the peasants are at a tipping point, and if they start to revolt, he'll have to use that to his advantage. So do you think that Hrathen will be able to put in a new king, or do you think the peasants will revolt first, or that something else may happen first?
The lane trains are gonna come first.
the heck?
What?
Can you repeat the question?
I said, do you think
I
Hrathen
don't.
will... Hmm?
Hold on, it's because I don't know if it's my audio cutting off or.
It's your audio cutting off.
Okay. Try repeating the question.
I said, do you think Hrathen will be able to put in a new king, or do you think the peasants will revolt first, or will something else happen?
I feel like the king's gonna get assassinated.
Ooh.
Hopefully by his wife.
Hopefully by Eshin.
Yeah,
That that would be a turn of events.
that's what I want. If it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be severely disappointed in this book.
I see. So Hrathen then continues to wander the wall, and he notes that only the section near the gates are clean, and that beyond that is covered in the grime of Elantris. He then sees a group of cloaked men who are in fancy cloaks that don't make them as nondescript as they probably think they are. We learn the men are Telri and his guards. Telri asks if Hrathen knows why he has asked for a meeting, which Hrathen confirms is because Telri is having second thoughts. Telri explains that this is because he heard that Hrathen was involved in the fall of Duladel. Hrathen then begins to explain to Telri that they don't need a revolution to take down Erelon, as Erelon has very little military presence. Telri doesn't think Fjordell does either, but Hrathen explains how all the eastern countries that follow Shu-Dereth would also come to Wyrn's call. However, Hrathen thinks that they don't need the armies of the other countries because of the monasteries where monks were trained in war, assassination, and other arts. He then shivers as he thinks about the Dakor monastery, where he has apparently spent some time and has marks on his arms from that time. What do you think may have happened at this Dakor monastery? We also learn later that Serene's dad is concerned about it as well.
What happened at the what? I got everything else except that word.
The Dakor monastery, the one that Hrathen is like scared of.
Oh, hmm.
Hey, isn't that the place that he came? Where did he come from?
I don't know if we
He
got
came,
told where exactly he came from. We just get told here that he spent some time at this monastery.
yeah, and then they isn't that the place that fell shortly after he got there?
No,
That's
Dakor and
Oh,
Duladel are
that's
separate. We
Duladel.
have
That's
Duladel.
what I was thinking. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
Duladel.
yeah.
So that's the place that like what trained him?
Yeah, so the monasteries are where you get trained. So he would have been there a long
I
time
gotcha.
ago before he was a Gjorn.
I mean that makes sense considering what they're talking about when they talk about that place.
But yeah, so I think we find out later that Serene's dad said like there's like a specific monastery for like assassination. There's a specific one for like And there's like a few
Yeah.
specific ones for like fighting and stuff. And then like, yeah, what do you have any theories about what might happen at this one? Because
I
Serene's dad
think
doesn't
this is
know.
like, uh-huh.
I said Serene's dad
Would you?
doesn't know what happens there.
I mean, it could be like political overthrow sort of thing, you know?
That's what they're
Because
teaching. Uh,
he he already fucked up once, like place, so
Hmm.
it works effectively if that's what it is.
The revolution, the Monastery of Revolutions.
Hell yeah.
Do you have any thoughts, Mythic?
not really.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's hard to sometimes think of something on the spot when you don't have much information on
yeah.
That and the fact that like I honestly don't even remember this.
it.
I remember Doolittle. That's about the only thing I could remember.
This place is just mentioned briefly. Just that it's mainly that Harathan like shivers at the thought of it, which is why it's like kind of notable.
Gotcha.
Harathan then speaks to Telri again, saying that he is here to try peaceful conversion and that Erelon will need a new monarch. He promises that Telri can be this new monarch, and Telri warns Harathan of Serene as he has heard her asking questions about Harathan at the ball earlier. Harathan says not to worry about her and asks if Telri heard about what the king had been told and that things are moving along. So during last episode when he had those talks with Telri, had you expected that Harathan would be trying to make Telri the new king?
No, but it
I
doesn't surprise me to be honest.
I feel like it's definitely not gonna happen though, because
No.
everything goes wrong everywhere.
Every book he writes, yeah, everything goes wrong.
I trust nothing.
I mean, it wouldn't be very interesting of a book if nothing went wrong.
Sure would.
Yeah, but then
This is
everything goes wrong.
it would be the book of Elantris. Boring, boring, boring.
Wow. So Harathan also tells Telri to double his men's pay and speak well of the Elantris city guard to them. That way it can be known by the city guard that he is a man that rewards people. Telri asks Harathan if he'll be paying for that, which Harathan agrees with a roll of his eyes. And Telri then leaves. Harathan is concerned that Telri mentions Serene, as he can tell she has decided to oppose him. He thinks that he is actually her greatest ally, not her enemy, as without him, her people would be crushed by the Fjordell armies. He also considers how Shu Korath is inferior to Shu Dareth. So what do you think about the fact that people are noticing that Serene is trying to oppose Harathan? Do you think this is going to be an issue?
Well, yeah.
It's gonna be an issue, but I feel like it's not gonna be like always against her.
Mm,
Like there's gonna be people that definitely want to join her.
Yeah, they want to ally with her because the
Yeah.
enemy of your enemy is your friend. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand that part.
Especially like the people higher up who realize how dangerous the priest can be. If they do, I mean.
mm-hmm. So as Harathan begins to walk back to the stairs down the wall, he hears a loud thump. He's told by a guard that sometimes an Elantrian will try to escape and they have to throw them back in. Harathan goes to the guard shack to meet with the captain after descending the stairs. He asks that next time an Elantrian is found outside the city that they be brought to his chapel first. So what do you think Harathan wants with an Elantrian?
Dissect them like a pig in science class.
Game.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have a little tongue foss session there.
Oh
Mhm.
gosh.
Well, I mean, technically, and it's that same side of me of wanting to be an Elandrian. Like, it would be a good idea to dissect them and figure out what like if there's a scientific reason that they're not like
Mm.
able to perish, or if maybe you could figure out how to kill them, because
Mm-hmm.
if they revolted and like don't feel pain and can continue to move even though they're kind of cut or hurt,
Well, I think
be a
Galadon
pretty
said
good
that
army.
you can kill them by burning them.
No, Galadon said that you
You don't
burning
know
them,
if
but he doesn't know it kills
Well,
them.
yeah, he doesn't know that it'll
yeah.
kill their soul, but like their body's like completely ash.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they don't feel pain. They just can't express it because they're ash.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But how are you ever
Yeah,
going to
so
tell? Like you're by dissecting them, you're probably going to cause them to become a Hoed where like they stop responding. So how are you going to find out
I
how to
mean,
kill them?
there's another thing you could do. You could figure out how much pain somebody can endure before they become a Hoed.
It sounds like that sounds horrible for that poor
No,
Elantrian.
Every time you guys
Agree.
say that, I automatically think you're saying ho.
Yeah, hoe. Yeah, that hoe.
That hoe.
Hi ho, hi ho.
No, you have a limited time, a limited like amount of pain before you become a hoe.
Yeah.
Oh
Uh-huh.
gosh.
Like no.
I mean, Babetta didn't get to that point yet.
Uh, oh,
She was considering it. She almost got there.
oh.
Man, I mean, almost. I mean, she was considering doing some stuff, that's for sure.
Yep. Uh,
Yes.
Stop the pain.
so we get to chapter 16, which is the Rowden chapter, which means we get a new Aeon. This Aeon is Atta, meaning grace and smoothness. So we then move. So then we have Rowden's point of view as he thinks about Ian some more. Apparently, when he was a child and learning about slavery, he had gotten upset and tried to tell Ian to go off and be free. However, Ian says he doesn't want to go free and he loves Rowden and thinks of him as his child as he watched him grow up. Eventually, Rowden found that the love of a Seon was like the love of Domi himself. Did you have any thoughts on the Seon human relationship from like the little?
I thought that was cute as fuck.
I don't know. I think this is where I kind of got to that point of thinking that they might have been the reason for the fall of Elantris.
Yes,
mm,
but also it's
Because
cute as fuck.
I agree, it is pretty adorable. But I think this is where I started that theory
how come?
because, well, if they're so attached to these people, it doesn't seem like they really care enough. Like they care, but they don't care. They somehow don't. I don't know. It just felt like they were connected to maybe the reasoning that they were lost as
Mm,
Elantrians. Like they were gods at one point, and now they're, pretty much just riffraff. It seems like, and the other thing that made me question was how many of these people who become the zombie things uh, that go through the Shao uh, have have these orbs.
That's exactly why I was like, do we know how many there are? Pero no.
Yeah,
Apparently we don't know.
we don't know. We know that there's enough that
And
they've seen them around.
yeah, but like
yeah.
there's a
Why are
shit
they in
ton of
Elantris?
Elantrians, and I'm just like, are there that many? Like of the orbs? I felt I had the same theory, but I there's no way I can confirm it because you know we don't know how many there are or much
No,
about them in general.
we do not get a count of them.
But we can confirm it if they kill Serenida.
Yeah, I mean, it would be if Harathan and Serene were to become the same thing. Then I mean, it would almost concrete that like that their involvement might create that problem.
Yeah. Also a power couple.
Oh gosh.
They already are a power couple, even though one's on
Well,
the outside.
they're separate right now. They're having their issues. So,
No, they just don't know about each other yet.
but
Just wait. When they
Oh,
know about each other, they're gonna rule over this entire planet.
all of Cell.
Yeah, all of it.
that's what the planet's called.
Yeah, the planet's called Cell. SEL.
Wow. Oh, okay. I was like CEL. I was
No,
thinking, man,
SEL.
I was
Dragon Ball
thinking
Z.
XPL.
Yeah, no,
I
SEL.
like I like how we all thought of different ways to spell it.
I
Yeah.
did think of what I knew.
No, you thought of it. Huh?
Okay,
um,
but you're like a nerd, so
Oh,
you are
oh.
too. So Rauden then tells
At least he's
Galladon,
not short.
oh,
wow,
well, I am, but
At least he's not 4 foot, right?
I'm 4'11".
you
Nah,
are for me. I forgot.
Shut up!
That's funny.
4 foot. You're a dwarf.
I'm not dwarf.
Well, actually, you
Racist.
are. You
I know
are.
middle schoolers,
By by
middle
by uh, by D&D standards, you are because dwarves are between 4 and 5 feet. I know because I literally just made a dwarf for a buddy for D&D this weekend. Yeah, you can pout all you want. Go ahead, make that pouty face.
Shut up. Moving on. Rauden tells Galladon that he knows what's wrong with Ian. The tiny cracks in his Aeon and the blotches as well are causing him to be all fucked up. Galladon then asks what Raoden misses the most about the outside world, what he would bring in if he could. Galladon says he would bring in his home that he had built himself. Raoden says that he would bring the letters from Serene. We also learned that Serene proposed to Raoden and that Raoden was excited for the marriage even if it was politically motivated, which I found really cute. His little thoughts on Serene here.
Mm-hmm.
He was so excited to meet her, and he has all these
They both
letters
were
from
excited to
her.
see each other. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that they both wanted to see each other. They wanted to be married, even though they never physically met with one another. Yep.
it's very cute.
It's adorable. Pen pals for life.
They are. They're very, very cute.
Maybe he should do like what's the person's name who was saving kids? What's her name?
Prada?
Yeah, he should do like her and go give her a letter.
I thought they were gonna say steal children, but okay.
She doesn't steal children. She
Mm,
relocates them to a better home. They would be dead without her.
they're dead anyway.
Wow.
Okay, they
They're
would
having a
be
good
in
life.
severe they would be in severe pain without her.
They'd probably be Hoed without her.
They'd probably be hoes.
Yeah.
No,
Oh my
no.
god.
Anyways,
I was
Gal
trying not to say it so that Darkness could make that joke.
moving on, Galadin then learns about the fall of Duladel, meaning he must have been in Elantris for at least 6 months.
Hmm.
Galadin also asks what happened to his religion, Jesker, which Raoden says only the mysteries remain. Galadin responds that the mysteries are a perversion, only people without knowledge of the door follow them. So I think we talked about this previously, but how long do you think Galadon has been in Elantris for? Because he's obviously been on at least more than 6 months, because that's how long ago Duladel fell.
He's been in Elantrian for thousands of years.
I don't remember which one of you it was, but one of you I think had said that you thought he has been there from
Me.
the start, that he was like an
Yeah, me.
original Elantrian.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yep. Thousands of years.
What do you think, Darkness?
I think I think he's getting there tomorrow.
What?
No, but like legit, I don't think he's been there more than a year because he
Hmm.
clearly states something about that.
Well, he says most people don't last more than a year because the pain gets to be too much.
He said most. How would he know that though if he hasn't been here
But
to
he's not
see
a
somebody
person.
go through a whole
God,
year?
what if he's a god and not a person?
Yeah,
Dun
but
dun
like just
dun.
but think about that, Darkness. How would he know if somebody can't stay here a year if he's not like seen them stay at try to get to a year? Does
Cause
he have the year time frame?
how do they even keep track?
Exactly.
I don't know, seasons probably.
Nah, seasons don't change in this world.
Do they
You know
not?
what I just realized?
Hmm?
This whole time I've been picturing that Elantris and the the outside city or whatever.
Okay,
I've
yeah.
been picturing it like in a cave,
What?
like in a vast cavern,
What the
like
fuck?
with like rocks overhead. I don't know why.
Why?
I don't know.
They're by the ocean.
I know, but like I don't know why I've been picturing it like that.
You have the maps.
I don't look at the maps.
You showed me the maps when we first started this.
Yeah, but it's like a dome in my head, like a dome of rocks.
Weird. That's I don't know why. Okay, sure.
You should have seen how I pictured that other city that we read about.
Tetelier.
Until I showed you the
Yeah.
map.
Uh, uh-huh.
Um. Anyways, Rauden then
Yeah,
leaves
titular.
Tetelier.
Yeah, titular.
Rauden then leaves Galadon alone to grieve his country and goes back to the chapel where he sees that Kahar has meticulously cleaned the chapel. The floor reflects the sunlight and there are statues and reliefs of the walls. Kahar asks what is next, and Rauden suggests cleaning the surrounding area as people have begun living in the buildings near the chapel, and it would be best not to track grime into the now clean chapel. Rauden also says he'll get Kahar some workers as it'll be a big task, and other random Elantrians have begun joining them. Before Kahar leaves, Rauden asks if he has figured out the secret to not feeling hungry anymore, which Kahar says he has. Rauden notes that when people have something to do, they feel the pain and hunger less. Rowden then
Mm-hmm.
looks at himself in a shiny flat surface and sees how much his face has changed. His hair has completely fallen out, his skin has turned even more gray in the places where it isn't blotchy, and he has wrinkles, especially around his lips, and sunken eyes. So what do you think about the fact that Rowden looks worse than when he first entered Elantris? Do you think he'll keep getting worse?
Worse.
Yeah, he
I think
apparently.
he looks pretty. You can't judge people by their looks. The fuck?
I mean, I constitute it more as like molting for basically like a caterpillar before they become a butterfly.
They're shutting into a butterfly.
Yeah,
So you think
they're
you think
becoming
they're gonna like
their
become
better
really bad,
selves.
and then they're gonna become like a full-born Elantrian
Yep, they're
eventually?
gonna become their better selves. Yeah, as long as they can survive that
As long as you can
grace
survive.
period. So maybe that's the year grace period.
Mm. If you think Galadon's been around for so long, then why do you think he doesn't look
Wait,
better?
I mean, what if he does look better? What if like what were they called, the gods from the last one? They can
Lanterns?
change their form.
returned?
Oh, it returned.
Yeah, return. Yeah, there you go. Return. They can change their forms.
You were gonna say something, Darkness?
Yes. Um, you know what pissed me off?
Mm.
When he was like, "Oh, he's okay. He's like, oh, something's wrong. It's just that, like what is that symbol? Like inside the light,
Inside
like
Aeon,
Aeon,
Eon?
the Aeon's
Aeon.
broken or whatever." And I'm just wondering why can't he just like try and like rebuild it on the spot?
Like use like the magic to like
Yeah, like hold
draw
that
over
little
it?
light ball creature down and just like
Hold it
stab
down.
it, just
Okay.
stab it.
Just wrestle it to the ground and start drawing
Yeah,
Eons on it.
I feel like you could just say, "Hey, could you let me, fix your thing?"
it'll probably still hit itself against the wall, but yeah. No, but he has that thing he does where he like raises his hand and then it comes to
Yeah,
him
yeah,
or
he
whatever.
can
Just do it there.
draw
Like
Aeons in
do it
the
on
air.
the spot. Like I don't understand why he didn't just try to do it.
Oh god,
He
nothing
doesn't know
happened.
that he has that power yet. Oh, she broke it.
I just
She broke
dropped
it.
things. I was trying to get a blanket.
She broke it. Oh, she's
A
distracted.
blanket on stream? I mean
It's
on
really
No,
on
how dare you?
camera?
How dare you
I
be
got
like
cold.
doing other things while we're doing this
I'm
podcast?
literally just leaning over. It's
Like
like on a table beside me.
none of us here would ever do that
Oh
to you.
We would
gosh.
never. We're not that disrespectful to our viewers and listeners.
Yeah, exactly. We give the undivided attention
Just
here.
wanted a blanket.
No blankets.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We don't know if he's like tried anything or not. At least they haven't showed him trying anything.
He should have tried it on the spot. Is what I'm saying. Like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't really agree with darkness, but but
why not?
yeah, at some point I feel like he should at least try to use that magic.
Mm.
I would have done it on the spot. There's no point in waiting. Like what are we waiting for?
Don't know.
He's scared. Maybe he's scared that he's actually is powerful.
So Galden then shows up and comments on their appearance as well as how many Elantrians have been joining them. Galden asks how Rowden plans to keep all the people occupied, but Rowden says he'll find jobs for them. He then gets the corn grain out of a hole in the wall and asks him to determine the quality of it. Galadon says it's not bad and that it's basically planting season now. However, Galadon doesn't think that the Elantrians will be able to wait long enough for the corn to grow before trying to eat it. Rowden says he believes in people and next year they can find more space to grow more corn. He mentions that even if they aren't around, others can continue their work. Galadon reluctantly says he'll need to find a way to plow the garden. So, do you think Galadon is right that the Elantrians won't be able to wait to harvest the corn?
Yes, he is right, 100%.
I thought he was wrong until a little bit further along.
Hmm. Okay. So Sauron suddenly calls down to Rowden from his makeshift watchtower, saying that someone is coming. Man then bursts in, saying Karata needs his presence. Rowden and Galadon then arrive at Karata's palace to see her arguing with Dash, her second in command. They learn from an anxious man named Horan that one of Dash's scouts overheard Andon saying that he wants to attack the palace, and that Dash is going to use this opportunity to attack Andon first, as he's been wanting to for months. Dash says he has to do this to protect the children and then leaves. Greta turns to Rowden and says there's no stopping him, but Rowden says he can't accept that. The three then go to the university as well, Rowden asking Greta to take them a different route than what Dash would use so they don't run into him. Once they get to the university, Galadin notices that the way that Dash is going to enter through is rigged to collapse. A moment later, Dash walks in through the hole in the wall, and Rowden calls out that it's rigged to collapse. A group of men then appear behind a pile of rubble, and Andon, with his fake mustache, has a fire axe that he is getting ready to swing to cause the collapse. So why do you think Andon wanted to take out Karata's group so badly?
Repeat the question.
Where where was it? Why do you think Andon wanted to take out Karata's group so badly?
Oh, cause I'm pretty sure because they were building up, power.
You think it's because yeah, they're building
Could,
a power. I think he
yeah,
also
cause
says at
they.
one point early on that he wants the palace because he's declared himself a baron.
Oh, I
But
don't
Yeah.
remember that,
I
but
mean, yeah, like I think he's. I mean, we find out later more about him in
hmm
general, but I think subconsciously he wanted the area that they were in. Yes.
yeah, yeah. I think the fact that he's trying to do this now, yeah, is probably yeah they're growing big. So yeah, I think as Darkness said, it's kind of just like before they get even bigger, we should attack now.
yep.
So Rowden calls out Andon's real name, which is Tan, telling him to stop and causing Tan to hesitate. Rowden says he doesn't think Tan is insane, and he walks into the building. He says that an insane man wouldn't think to boil books for food and plan a trap. He also says he doesn't understand why Tan would choose to be Baron Andon instead of Tan the sculptor. Rowden rubs away grime from a table and asks if Tan really knows what it means to be in Elantris, a city of beauty and art, as he shows the intricate carvings on the table below the grime. Rowden also points out a relief in the wall next to Tan, which Tan rubs away the grime to see the beauty beneath it as well. Rowden says that Tan is the only sculptor who can see the beauty of Elantris and learn from the sculptures here. Tan rips off his fake mustache and begins crying. Were you surprised that Rowden was able to get Andon, aka Tan, on his side?
No, cause apparently he can easily sway anyone. He has fucking persuasion plus 100.
Mm-hmm. Keeps rolling his nat 20s on those persuasion checks.
I do like the thought of him ripping off this giant fake mustache.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Fake
what I laughed
mustache.
at. I was like, why even?
The fake mustache is just too much for me.
He's trying to be a different person.
Apparently, he thinks all barons should have fancy mustaches.
Apparently.
There's no animals in there, huh? That sucks.
No. I don't know, maybe you could
That's
catch a
scary.
bird, potentially? I don't know if the birds avoid the Elantris or something.
Mm,
You think there might be
mm.
like rodents or something.
Yeah, they can eat that. They can't
Uh,
really get diseases, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so.
You should know this.
Don't know.
You come so unprepared.
Dash and
Always.
oh my gosh. Dash and his people then begin to enter the university library. Rowden talks them down from fighting, with Andon's men saying that they are more free than the people. By saying that they are more free than the people outside, as they don't need to eat or keep warm. That everything outside the walls is about making money for food or getting land to grow food. He asks if an eternity of pain is worth a few moments of releasing hatred. Tan says he will join Rowden, and that Andon was a fool. Dash and Andon's men eventually drop their weapons as well. Rowden then says he has a building that he wants to show Tan, because I don't think any of us would be surprised that he's going to probably show Andon the beautifully clean chapel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking about right now? Now
mm-hmm.
that I realize like what's happening, um, I feel like the dude with the same ending or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not his name.
Tan's his real name. Andon was his fake name.
Yes.
I like Andon
He's
better.
yeah, it's actually sayable,
What's
Hmm.
wrong with Tan?
but
Hand's easier, in my opinion.
I'm gonna call
Yeah, but
him
that
Dan.
doesn't sound like an actual person's name.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him Ham though, cause
Ham. All right,
yeah.
sounds good.
Um, so I'm thinking like, what if he pulls up to Rodden and he's like, oh, by the way, we have these like bugs that we didn't eat,
They have all
and
the
that's where all
secrets.
the answers he's been looking for are.
Maybe. Who knows?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, they'll have access to the university now.
Yeah, this is like, I feel like this could be a game, you know, like Loki exploring Elantris.
Oh yeah, that would be a pretty fun game too.
We'd like Elantris the game.
Yeah, too bad.
Let's just
That
hope they
is.
don't make another controversial comment. No, I'm just
I mean, I don't think Brandon would, but we'll see.
I don't know. He has a couple games out. He has a Mistborn board game and a Mistborn TTRPG.
Might have to find that TTRPG now.
After we
What's a
read
TTRPG?
Mythborn. It's like Dungeons
Nope,
and
I'm
Dragons.
definitely gonna find it first.
But you
What
can't. You
is
don't
it?
have spoilers in it.
What
Oh,
is it?
that's too bad. I guess we better read
Oh my
Mistborn
gosh.
faster then.
Oh my gosh.
Someone answer.
What did you say, Darkness?
I said, what's a
It's
TTRPG?
like Dungeons and
Like D&D.
Dragons.
It's a tabletop RPG.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So that was chapter 16. So we're then on to our final chapter, chapter 17,
finally.
which is back to Serene's point of view as
Oh
she
my
gets
god.
as she gets ready to teach
I
the
mean,
women fencing.
Did we skip over Harathan? Thank God.
We didn't. We did Harathan before Rowden.
I kind of.
I don't remember.
It was his meeting with Telri on the top of
I don't know
Elantris.
what you're talking about. I don't remember
Okay.
anything about Harathan.
Wait, there was a Rathan chapter?
Oh my
I know,
gosh.
right?
So the women are surprised by Serene's outfit, and Serene notes that it seems like they somehow expected to fight in dresses. Luco then enters
Yes.
along with
And
Kaise and Deworn.
she comes in with the greatest outfit ever.
She comes in like a gray jumpsuit or something, she says.
Exactly. Best outfit for her.
I want to see battle skirts.
Battle skirt.
That would be pretty funny, actually.
They're like skirts with armor and shit.
Serene then pulls out her fencing sword and does some stylish moves while explaining the history of fencing, from it being a scouting sword to eventually being a sword of sport in Duladel and Teod. She then throws her second sword to Terena and swiftly wins a small fight, explaining that skill is better than strength. She then takes out sticks that she has the women practice with, since the blacksmith is still making practice swords for the women. So what did you think about this method of just throwing a sword to Terena and making? Did you think it was a good move as a teacher? Just be like, defend yourself.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah!
fight!
It shows. It
Throw her
shows
in the
them.
fire.
It shows them how what she's capable of.
Yep,
Mm.
throw her in the fire. I just wanted to beat her. I just wanted to see her beat her ass. Like,
So
yeah.
after helping the women for a while, Sereni collapses onto a chair near Lucal. Kaze says how she could have done better at teaching the women before going off to play with Dorn. Lucal explains how Kaze may be incredibly intelligent, but she still acts and reacts like a child most of the time, making her difficult to take care of.
I thought the
And
person isn't she the one that talks about like the thing? Like she schools her on what fencing is or something?
yeah, she
Or is
like
that
says
later?
she's yeah, I think she says. Well, Iandel also talks a bit about, I think, but yeah,
Yeah,
she kind
but
of
I
says like
thought
you should
like
have taught them like riposting and like things like
ah
this.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I could have taught them better. You didn't teach them this and
That's the
this.
child, right?
Yeah. The 10-year-old
Yeah,
child
it's
who
the
Yeah,
can speak
child.
like three
The one
I
that,
want
languages.
yeah.
to. I want to put her out the window. Like I don't like her.
I don't know if you're supposed to like her. She's kind of a know-it-all brat.
Like you.
Wow. So Lord Eondel and Shuden then appear in the doorway, the women blushing as they see Shuden. Eondel, however, tests out one of the sticks and then begins instructing the women on grip and posture, and they begin aiming better with their makeshift fencing swords. Serene feels a little jealous of Eondel's ability to teach efficiently and ends up forcing him to spar against her. They spar expertly across the whole room until Eondel's defenses suddenly weaken slightly and Serene wins. And Serene pretty much instantly begins to feel ashamed and silly for forcing Eondel into a situation where he had to let her win, otherwise she would look bad in front of the other women. She also realizes that she can't treat this like a game like she could in the court of Teod. She has to take this more seriously as there are lives at stake. So what do you think about the fact that Serenity acts so rashly like this, and like she kind of like Eandel's obviously better than her, but like he has to let her win for her like reputation.
I I mean, it's a good thing that happened, but I would have been pissed personally, because you're letting me win for what? Like, I get it, like, politically and, like, just, like, socially is, like, the best move you could do.
Well, I think that was the reason why he didn't want to spar her. He's like, I can't like make you look bad. I can't win this.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know, I feel like holding back like that is kinda ass.
Well, I think as she says, it's because like he's just like we have like things are like on the brink here. Like we have to look strong, and like
Mhm.
Serene also has to look strong. So,
Yeah.
what did you think, Mythic?
I mean, I thought it was a really cool thing that he pretty much let her win so she could show pretty much that she's pretty decent. But I mean, seems like a good guy to me.
Yeah, I think he is a good guy, but
Yeah,
I think if it
doesn't
had
seem
been a
like all these other
private,
douchebags.
yeah, I think if it had been a private spar, he probably wouldn't have like let her win, obviously. But
Nah,
it's the fact that it was in
hopefully
front of
not.
everyone.
He gives me, like, for some reason, he gives me, like, Vasher vibes.
Does he?
A little.
So after telling Iandel to hydrate with water instead of wine, because he's like, why the fuck do you have water here? Which is like, dude, come on.
Who the fuck
Um,
hydrates with wine?
yeah, I know, right? She turns to see her
I do.
students. Hmm?
Nothing. Anyway, continue.
She turns to see her students watching Lord Shuden do an intricate dance-like exercise. Iandel notes that Shuden may complain about the attention of women, but yet he likes to show off as well. After Shuden finishes, he comes over to Serene and Iandel and explains that the exercise is called Chai Shan and is a way to warm up for battle while focusing your mind and body. Did you have any notes about it? He was doing like his little dance exercise.
I do have a note on the name. So, half this book, I'm just not gonna even try, bro. Like,
Yeah.
the like 90% of the religions, I don't even know them. The names barely.
You sound like my D&D players.
No, cause
Every
like
time I come up with a name for somebody, they're just like, "What is this name?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm just gonna come up with names now, like Bob and Paul, and so nothing characteristic, nothing that gives you anything." Oh my
you should like
god, damn!
yeah. At least I'd be able to say them.
You'll be very happy that I think Mistborn has, I think, the easiest names of all of his books.
They better have like the whitest, like most basic names there.
I mean, they're not. They're
Susan,
they're. I mean, they're kind of partially a little French based. They're not like super white.
wee wee.
They're not like super like English white, but
They're all named Baguette.
some of the nicknames for
Well,
some
that was
people.
racist.
Uh,
Some pretty basic names. Mistborn. But anyways, you were saying something about the names about the Che Shan name, Darkness.
I forgot.
You said you couldn't like remember anything. Were you gonna say like that this was one you could remember or something?
No, this is definitely not what I'm gonna
Oh,
remember.
okay, I don't know. I
No,
don't know where you were going with that then.
no. He was just saying the names are hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
We then skip to Serene wandering through the marketplace with Ash. Ash notes that he hasn't seen a Cheshan in a long time, and that Seons live very long lives. As they move through the market, she notes that the wealth of the merchants determines how close they are to slavery due to Iodon's laws, with the most wealthy being nobles, which is why they're like super fucking pushy merchants in this marketplace.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, just a quick question on Ash's note though. How long do you think Seons live for?
Uh,
Ever.
Forever?
Yeah.
no, I feel like they die eventually. Not as
Yeah.
long as light, I would assume.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, technically they're dead when Elantris. Yes.
When they become Elantrians, yeah,
Yeah.
they're taken by the shroud.
So
I see, I see.
do we know the lifespan of like godly Elantrians?
I don't believe so.
What if they are godly Elantrians?
No,
Like,
they're
what?
unholy Elantrians.
Okay, well, I meant like, what if they're the old Elantrians?
The Seance are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought
Mm.
about that actually. Yeah.
You think they somehow
I
become
just
balls of light over time?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
what if they all did that to like? Huh, never mind.
Okay.
I was gonna
You
say
you were going somewhere with that.
what if they did that to like escape the sickness or whatever?
Hmm. You think they knew it was
Possible.
coming?
Maybe.
Maybe they started it.
Maybe they started it and they knew it was coming and that's why they did that.
There's like
Mhm.
different factions, and one faction like started it and they turned themselves into Seance first.
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting. So Serenity then goes into the Karathi temple, which she notes is much less formal than the Durethi temple. Apparently, like instead of having like spears and shields on the wall, it has like quilts and plants. Very homey. And she greets Father Omen, and notes that who notes she wasn't at the sermon last night. But when Serenity says she was at a ball, he notes that socializing can be important, especially when you're new to town. It's also noted that Father Omen is quite short and a good person, which Serenity notes is not a feature of all priests, not even all Karathi priests, who I guess are generally nicer because the religion's more about like love and acceptance. um, so Serenity then asks Father Omen about the widow's trial. He explains that as a widow, she is expected to show her grief openly to prove her love for her husband, even though she barely knew him. Also, the severity of the trial is an example of how much the union meant to the widow. Serenity then asks what Omen thinks about the Elantrians and if they were cursed by Domi. Omen, however, says Domi loves all and that he thinks the nature just gives rises and falls to all people. He also says that he doesn't think the Elantrians were gods, just people of which many had inflated egos. He does seem concerned that Harathan is calling the Elantrians Farkas, though. So what do you think about Father Omen's thoughts on the Elantrians? Do you think they were gods?
Do I think Elantrians were gods? No.
You see, here's one of those questions where she's like
Yeah.
Oh my
asking
god.
it for a reason, you know? Like a very big reason. Like possibly like, like world turning reason.
Oh my gosh. Do you not have an answer then, Darkness?
No.
I
I
Okay.
mean,
really don't.
I don't think they were gods. Then again, I also don't think the Awakened are gods. So
You mean the returned?
whatever. Yeah.
It's been a book and a half. You still haven't got it.
Nope. I
But
will
to be fair, I
never.
didn't
I
even get
won't.
that. So
Yeah, I won't.
Serenity then gets Omen back to talking about the widow's trial. He explains that widows are expected to do an act of service for their community. And the more they love their husband and the higher their status, the more they're expected to do. Being more personally involved is also important. He then also tells her that she inherited Rowden's money and likely is quite rich, which she didn't seem to have been aware of. Serenity then leaves the church and meets back up with Ash, who apparently refuses to go into a Karathi temple after being kicked out of one many years ago, which I find funny. I don't know why
Yep.
he would have been kicked out, but whatever. Um, Ash notes how Harathan goes to the walls of Elantris on many nights and is well known by the captain of the city guard. Serenity then says she doesn't need to know what Harathan is doing with the Elantrians to block him, which concerns Ash. Do you have any thoughts on what Serenity might do for her widow's trial?
she's gonna. she
What?
does feeding the lanterns count?
As what?
Like feeding
As her
feeding the
trial?
lanterns? Yeah.
Oh.
Because if it counts, then I think she's gonna do that.
I think she's gonna feed the
Not just because
Elantrians.
she like feels about bad about them, but it would also like fuck up like Harathon.
Hmm.
If she doesn't do that, I would be so upset because like that's such a good plan.
Did you have
Yes.
any thoughts, Mythic, about what she might do for her widow's trial?
Uh, no, not really, because To be honest, I don't even think she really needs to do a trial. She didn't know that man.
Oh, okay.
Like, there's really no connection. Like, they didn't
What
have like a actual like connection. They never actually, in my opinion, were married. She proposed, they were engaged, but
Still sounds like
what
she's kind
is
of
your
expected to one though.
what is your view here? Because sometimes I hear you say they're the perfect couple or whatever, and then I hear you say they don't even know each other.
they don't. They don't know each other.
So like, what's your view here? Like, do you want them to be together or
They had
I
a
want them
long
to be
distance
not?
together. No,
relationship.
I want them to be together. I just don't think that they were actually together yet.
You saying long distance relationships aren't real relationships, Mythic?
No, I'm saying it doesn't work.
I mean, she
Oh,
was coming to move to him.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't work unless you move there. And
I mean, she was
she
which
didn't
moving
move
there.
there fast.
which
She didn't move there fast enough.
don't judge a woman by how fast she moves.
Damn. So we then skip to Serene having a seance call with her father. They have a few nice words where Serene says he can call any time, but he says he didn't want to intrude on her independence, which I feel like it's just like a very like, oh, you've moved off to college or got married or whatever, or like I didn't want to intrude on you. I
Yeah.
don't know. It felt very like
It did. It did feel
relatable.
like that. Yeah, it definitely felt like that. Like my kid's going to college, they're going too far away.
Yeah, I don't want to intrude on your independence now that you're out of my home. It's so cute.
Yeah.
Um, and then they get more serious, and Aventio says he had to put down another just scary mystery cult. Also, the Fjordell ambassador and his entourage have left Teod with an air of finality, which worries Aventio. Serene mentions Harathan, which makes Aventio even more concerned, and says he'll send a ship immediately to get her so they can make a stand in Teod. Do you think Serene should have accepted this and gone back?
She's gonna die soon.
I mean, I
Maybe,
feel like
but
she should have accepted her out. Yes.
I mean, like, her kingdom's gonna fall anyway. So, because
Yeah, but it was scenes like this though where I was like, at the start of this book, I'm like, Mythic, I feel like you're gonna like Serene's dad a lot more than you liked Vivenna and Ciri's dad.
Uh, I mean, he's definitely better than their dad, but or than her dad. But
He's like, please come home. I'm worried about you. You don't need to do this. I want my
could
daughter
have just got a
back.
fleet and kidnapped her back home.
He respects her independence, Darkness. He
She
respects her
deserves one.
choices. I don't know. I really like the relationship between Serene and her
I
dad.
mean, yeah, like I said, it's better. And I mean,
Yeah.
he definitely seems like he cares. So
Hmm.
Hmm.
he hasn't technically left her yet. So we'll see how long that lasts.
Wow.
Especially when she keeps calling the other king her dad. So
Well, I think that's how like it works in like their
uh-huh.
world is
Yep.
like when you
Mhm.
get married,
Papa.
it's your new
I think
dad.
it also works that women are supposed to be able to crochet and do all these other womanly things, and she don't confide by that. So
She
She's not a woman.
tries.
I know she's a man. We all already knew that.
Serenity then says she's not going to leave. She gives a long explanation about how, even in Teod, men didn't seem to want an intelligent wife, and she wasn't considered attractive because of her personality. Men made fun of her behind her back, but no one would obviously tell her father that. She says that in Erelon she's at least a widowed wife, and it's a much higher distinction than being the king's spinster daughter back in Teod. She then tries to change the conversation to her uncle Kin, but Aventio says not to speak that name to him. She instead asks what he thinks Fjorden is planning. Ventio says his ambassadors and spies have been disappearing, and he has been trying to get information on the Dakor Monastery, which he has heard horrible things about. Ventio says that if it comes to it, he'll have to surrender as his duty as a king is to protect his people. So first of all, what do you think happened between Aventio and Kin?
Aventio and who again? Sorry,
His brother, her uncle.
had a falling out. Obviously.
He doesn't even want to hear the guy's name. He's like, don't
Yeah.
say my brother's name to me.
I guess maybe he had done something, betrayed him in some way.
You ain't that
What if it's
Darkness?
some like relationship drama shit? Where
Relationship
like,
drama.
yeah. Oh, what if he's the reason her her mother's dead, right?
I don't think.
I don't think that's been
so.
stated.
I
I'm
don't
pretty
think
sure it
so.
has, because that's where she
No,
got
because
the
I
Seance.
think no, because I think no, I think her mom just passed it to her because I think in the very first conversation she has with her dad when she gets to Erelon, at the end of their conversation he's like, "Let me put your mother on."
Yeah, I thought, and then she says no.
Why would he just pass on your Seance like that?
I think that's just how they do it.
That's okay. Maybe, yeah, maybe it's just relationship trauma.
Mm. But yeah, and then also, do you think it would be the right choice for Aventio to surrender if Fjorden comes to invade?
Probably less bloodshed. As a king, that would be the best option.
What do you think, Mythic?
I mean, I agree. It's a king that you know would be the best option.
Because I think Serene thinks afterwards that like if they surrender, it probably like her dad will probably still be like executed or something. Like they won't keep him in charge.
Man, whole Game of Thrones thing.
I guess so.
But like, if you if you think about it, they do talk about how the kings bend to like the fucking high-ranking religious people or whatever. I forgot their names. Over there in their own country. So I mean, like, I wouldn't be surprised
It seems like they
if he
have something
complied.
specific against Erelon and Tio though, because I think they said in the past like those were the two countries that like never like converted as well. Like they have like a specific grudge against them.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So Aventio then explains what Iadon learned at the ball previously, which is that Fjorden has been sinking Iadon's merchant ships. This causes Serene to realize that this will likely cause him to lose his title as king, and also that Harathon will likely put Tellery in charge, and that was the reason for the over-the-top ball. So she kind of figures that out pretty quickly there. She's like, oh shit, that's what this all means. And then we skip to Serene in bed, thinking about her conversation with her father. She mostly thinks about her issues with men growing up and how they mocked her for being argumentative and quick tongued. She's then surprised by a noise coming from her wall, but she assumes it's just the building settling as the wall was an exterior wall, so there's no other room there. So, what did you think that noise was?
Somebody coming to assassinate.
That'd be awesome. Hmm.
Do you have any thoughts, Darkness, about what that noise was?
Just ambience, like when you go into Minecraft caves.
Oh my god. The ambient noise.
Nah, I don't know.
All right. So that was the end of chapter 17. So now it's just the overview questions.
All
So
right, let's do it.
my first overview question was, do you think that Rowdon will be able to get Shower and his men to join like he did with the other two gangs?
Mm,
'Cause he's
yes.
yeah, because he's gotten two of the three leaders so far.
No, I feel like I feel like he got the first two too easy, and then this one's gonna be the hardest. Probably gonna lose some people.
Yeah. Well, this is the one where like they're like all of the guys act like wild animals. These are the ones that like actively like beat people up. They're the ones that like crushed that one guy's head in that Rowdon met the first day.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So that's the next group of people.
Oh,
Oh.
city life. Anyway,
um. So and then do you think that we'll see Serene start to work on her widow's trial next episode?
Hopefully.
I doubt it.
Think it'll
Wait, no,
take a
maybe,
couple chapters?
but we won't. I don't think we'll see it too much on her perspective.
Hmm.
Specifically, her wrath and seething
Oh,
about her doing
y-
that.
uh, maybe.
And
If she does what I think she's gonna do, yeah.
also, especially considering we have two Harathon chapters next time, do you think Harathon will get his hands on an Elantrian?
Yeah, he's gonna get his hand on Rowden,
Ooh, you think he's
No,
gonna get
I
his
doubt
hands
it.
on Rowden?
and then Rowden's persuasion is gonna change his mind, and he's gonna, you know, be a good guy all of a sudden.
And then he's gonna be the god. And I'm
Uh, So yeah, next chapter is the last one that has longer chapters. From what I can see, after next episode, it starts picking up. And we go from 4 chapters to 6, and then I think to like
What?
basically like 10 chapters per episode. So it's gonna start picking up the chapters soon. We're not getting near the Sanderlanche, but they just get a lot shorter and switches between the chapters quicker. So,
Huh.
but yeah, so next chapters are going to be 18 to 21. We have a
18 to 21.
Harathan, a Rauden, a Serene, and then another Harathan chapter.
Okay, 2 boring chapters. Got it.
Wow.
I mean, sorry, we got 4 boring chapters.
Anyways.
No, I'm really hoping Harathan wins. So
Ah,
I hope this plan. I hope his plan comes together and he, you know,
Want him to take
does
over
exactly what he
Erelon?
needs to do. Yeah.
I see, I see.
oh no. What if they sneeze really hard
I
and
just
he
want the
just
bad guy
stays
to win once.
forever?
Sneeze so hard your brain comes out your nose.
Oh no.
Like that was like some weird like superstition thing. I don't know.
The brain thing?
Yeah.
I only heard it from like I heard it when I was older because I started talking to white people.
I see, I see. Anyways, yeah, that was the end of the episode. Thank you guys for participating. Thank you to all the listeners out there. We really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.